You're welcome back to News Tonight. Let's turn to some other issues this evening as the Chief Executive Officer of the Humanity for Women Advancement, an NGO which focuses on women empowerment, Yahya Al-Hassan, has appealed to the government to scrap the medical costs for domestic violence victims. Addressing the media earlier today, Yahya Al-Hassan asserted that the pain and financial difficulties of paying for the cost of medical diagnosis prevents victims from pursuing justice, hence the need to scrap it.
As we are all aware, Ghana is weakened, is reeling on the prevalent cases of domestic violence. Dear President Akufo-Addo, it's worth noting is the poor, is the vulnerable who are mostly assaulted and abused. The pain and the financial difficulty of paying for the medical diagnosis prevent the victim from pursuing justice. The common inability for a person to incur such a ridiculous cost, excluding transportation, excluding the bribe to the policeman before leading you to arrest a culprit, prevent the victims, prevent the abused from pursuing for justice, thereby giving his or her agony to God. This is a girl child call. This is a humanitarian call. This is a national and a rational call. This is a vulnerable call to please but kindly scrap the medical cost of the violence abuse case so that people can pursue for justice.
So I'm joined in studio by the CEO for Humanity Women Advancement, Yahya Al-Hassan, and the domestic violence victim, Afi Regina Jade. They join us to give me a clear understanding of this agenda that they're both pushing for. Good evening to you and welcome to News Tonight.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure to have you. Afi, I'm going to start with you this evening. I do notice that you have an arm brace on.
Yeah.
First of all, what has your experience been as a woman who has gone through domestic violence for all these years? Tell me a bit about that.
To cut a long story short, this is not the first time, but this one is a very terrible one. That is why I take it to this extent. It's very... I would like to speak vernacular here. Ya pa say we oba a bia wonni kamanfo I cry ye wo mu ye ndi ma nti be ma bi no mutimi tietia e ma bebre fa ho de so we nya first one be we die just say aka me do mpenti me nko adwuma me nti me nya hwe mpo.
How many years have you been abused?
Almost 4 times. Serious one. This is terrible one. Yeah.
And was this abused by your husband?
Yeah, 2 was my husband and others by my living in a neighbors in a community.
So men in your community you've grown up with. What exactly did they do to you?
Oh, you see, sometimes when people know your background, that you are alone, they take advantage of you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, you are what the most recent experience that you had. What exactly happened that led you to go to the hospital, as I can see?
A man. He said he's the boss of our area.
What area is this?
That's North Jolo. Okay. We popularly call them Aigbe. We popularly call the place Aigbe Town.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Islam.
Islam.
So we normally you pass through someone before. So he took the area as he's the governor, the suprema. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what
he even told me he can kill me and do murder case. Yeah.
I want to understand some more, right? What exactly led him to do this to you? What made him target you?
I can't tell. That is why I want my justice. Because it's just something that I'm discussing with a lady. And the person is not ready to talk. So I don't know how come the lady turned to the boss man and he came without my knowledge. He used a piece of wood to hit me from my back.
He used wood. And please, Afi, you can speak tree. So that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that you can better express yourself. You're saying that this man who's taken himself as the boss of the community hit you on your back with
a piece of a wood.
With wood? He hit you on your back.
Yeah.
When he did this to you, you went to the hospital.
Yeah.
When did you go to the hospital, and what was how were you received at the hospital, and how much did you pay for your care?
As for the money, because now I'm on physio since then, and now I'm trying to go to a herbal way because I can see that the physio is not helping me. Since then.
And how long have you been on physiotherapy?
That is 1 month, 2 weeks.
Wow,
yeah,
it's a long time.
Yeah.
And tell me a bit more about what you spent at the hospital.
Unless I calculate it, because since then, when I'm going, I have to take a taxi.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And what
because
was
the doctor told me with this thing, I'm no more comfortable with trotro or motor. So
you can't take a trotro, you can't use motor, you have to use taxi, which of course is more expensive.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I'm no more, Accra situation, I can't go and do anything on my own before. So I have to depend on some of my brothers, and now they are tired of me because they also have their responsibilities to carry on. They can't keep on. So now I'm in a home helpless.
You're not doing anything.
Yeah. With my boy, my son.
With your son.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to move over to you now because you have taken it upon yourself to champion this cause. Tell me first of all briefly how old is your organization, and how long have you been championing this particular cause of scrapping medical costs?
Well, my organization roughly 10 years ago, but then currently we are all aware of the prevalent cases of domestic violence. I say Ghana as a country has capsized when it comes to domestic violence. The women advocacy, the civil society is what they should. It's an agenda that they should front on. I think all should join hands so that our women or domestic violence can be prevented.
Briefly, what has the response been so far to this proposal of government scrapping the medical cost for domestic violence victims? Are they open to doing so?
That's okay. I think I was in this studio, to play with the government to provide a vacant land to construct accommodation for Kayaye. It appears, per the blessing of this studio, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia has given us a land so that we can construct accommodation for Kayaye. I believe that the same mojo will work for His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo to listen to Ghana, to listen to women, to listen to the vulnerable, so that he can scrap the medical cost of violence abuse cases. Because we're talking of 500 Ghana cedis. How many Ghanaians can they afford 500 Ghana cedis? It's even a salary to many people. Are you only talking about the 500 Ghana cedi? No. I mean, you have to bribe the policeman before he will accompany you to go and arrest the culprit. That's how it is. So it's unfortunate. Yeah, sure.
Yahaya Al-Hassan, thank you so much. It's an all-important cause, really, and we at GH1 will certainly be following through on that. And thank you, Afi Jade, for sharing your experience as well as a domestic violence victim.